All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. And it's cricket episode number 4. And you can see the two faces. I am expecting it's going to be a red hot battle between the two of them. And I have you in front of you a very interesting topic which we have seen in the last, at least the last couple of years, that is announcing the playing 11 early or at the traditional way of at the toss. So both of you have chosen your topics. Rohan has got for the topic, which is choosing the playing 11 is one day before you can do that, while Paaji has gone is right at the toss. Let's wait and see who wins this. And I'll straight away start with the proceedings, and that is Rohan's first viewpoint, which says that it gives confidence to the players in the 11 and the team overall. The other squad members can be released to play domestic games to be match ready. So, Rohan, not India, but apart from that, we have seen, especially Australia,
Yep.
maximum they keep of 12-man players and the others can go wherever they want. But India do not do that.
Mm.
How much do you think that this needs to be changed for Indian cricket?
See, considering if it's a home season, it's happening and the Ranji Trophy is happening at the same time, this can be implemented pretty easily. I mean, we are going with what 16, 17 member squad already and only 11 play. So if the 15th or 16 member in the squad definitely knows they are not will be in the scheme of things, they can go and play the next round of Ranji games to be kind of a match fit. I think that will be what I think Australia do that, right? They have
Yep.
the Shield games a day after the Test match starts, so that the release player can go and play the domestic game also. I think India, if the schedule is pretty much known beforehand, I mean, I'm talking of the test match as well as the Ranji fixtures. I think this can be easily implemented and it will benefit the squad members also, and they'll keep it kind of a competition going, knowing that there's somebody who is ready in case the people in the 11 and out of form or injury or something happens. Backup is ready with match fitness happening.
Okay, fair enough. And going on to the next one says helps to prepare mentally with respect to the roles assigned to each player. This can also happen at the toss as well if you announce the playing 11. What mentally role which you expect them overnight in one day?
In the sense, it's like, as to reiterate the first point also, it's like you're showing a belief, is saying, I know you're good enough. Even if we announce our squad or the 11 before a day ahead, whatever the opposition can plan up and muster against you, you are able to tackle it. So the player knows, like, the team management believes in me, the captain believes in me, the selectors believe in me, so they're showing that faith. So it's about time the player himself delivers and showcase that the faith that was shown in him is quality enough, and he delivers at times. So just to make sure they're in a relaxed frame of mind, because nowadays mental health plays a huge role. I want the
Yes.
players to be in a good frame of mind so that they can play to their maximum potential.
Okay, and I agree with you with that. I'll know what Paji's perspectives there as well. Makes a statement for the opposition team to be prepared for the game with clarity. So you're saying there is a lot of confidence for you that you know who your playing 11 is. I will show ahead a day before I'll announce so that the other team knows that I'm pretty confident. But doesn't that impact a little bit about conditions as well? You go to the next day on match day itself, you see the conditions, and then you decide, or is it like you're pretty much confident, nothing will be much of a difference in a day?
See, unless you're playing in a place like England or somewhere, where the weather can change day by day, that where you can say maybe at the toss you'll reveal. But most of the times, what kind of wickets you do get pretty much flat ones all over the world. You can go ahead with this kind of strategy just to make sure your players are in the right frame of mind. I remember one instance, India did it at the WTC final, where it was gloomy all day and the day one was washout, and we
Yeah.
stuck to two spinners when maybe a fourth seamer would have been more handy. So that kind of a handicap, you shouldn't be rigid, is what I feel. You can't say this is my 11, whatever happens, I can. No, you need to be flexible. You need to see the conditions, the opposition. 90% of time, sticking to your 11 works, but sometimes if in case situations arise, I think you need to have a little bit of flexibility, I feel.
Okay, so you're still sticking to flexibility, but also getting the right 11 is the right point of view. Paji, coming to you, 3 pointers which Rohan said. Fair enough. Agree, disagree?
Disagree. Basically, because one, the toss. You look at every cricket team. There's usually batting first or batting second. A team prefers certain things. So again, if unless you've got the same 11 players that are going to play regardless if you're batting first or batting second, then I don't think, as I say, I think it's fine to do it. But if like today we see, a third, a fourth or fifth day, would you have an extra spinner? Would you have an extra fast bowler? It all depends on the conditions. And again, yes, England conditions can change day by day, but even in India, we have seen conditions change in the night. You could get a thunderstorm in the night, which was unplanned, and then obviously the outfield is slowed down, and that again that might affect your decision to bat first or bat second. So I think prejudging the day and time for the match is the big thing. I agree that the best thing about this would be releasing players, but I think what happens is the people are told a day before anyway. So I
Yeah,
think as a fan, I want to see us get the team on the day of
at the
the
toss.
surprise. I love that.
Okay. But while Rohan was explaining this really well, I would ask you in your trivia question as well. Don't you think if you announce it a day earlier, it would show that you as a team are confident of your 11 and ahead of the match? What's your perspective towards this, Paji?
I don't think confidence is a big thing. I think you should be if you're in the 15 or the 12 or 13, whatever you are, that is the team showing confidence that you are very close to selection anyway. Yes, on the day it makes a big difference. You have the big thing that somebody's making a debut. But again, if you look at all test teams, you roughly know the first 7 or 8 players who are going to be in that team anyway. So it is a matter of when somebody is becoming a debutant, the Horrible will be, oh yes, he's making a debut, debut.
Yeah.
And again, if that happens one day before, it probably does take the pressure off the player. But the other team isn't going to look at that, because the other team will have plans not just for 11 players, they'll have it for 15 players. They'll have their homework done before that date. So I think what it is, it's that surprise element. I think confidence, people know if that player is playing for India, the other team will do all the back. They will do whether he plays good at spin, whether he's good at bowling, where he bowls. All that homework will be done before anyway.
Okay. Fair enough. We move on to your slides, and none other than the first point, which says that I like the suspense and the toss. Does this points also relate that not only 11 players, but amongst the 15 member squad, each and every player is in contention to play the game?
Yes, and again, that's the main thing. Once all the 15 players, obviously, if the team don't tell the players who's playing on the day, obviously that means that, if something were to happen during the day, will those players be, oh no, I'm not playing? And they would then mentally switch off knowing that they're not playing. So I think the suspense on the team announcement on the toss is a big thing, because the fans get butterflies, so the players will go into that game with butterflies as well, and which can give us that extra performance on the day. If somebody's making their debut, it's on that day. So I think the suspense for the fans and the players is definitely a good thing. I really like. It's like taking the exam paper. If you see the exam paper before the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. You see it on the day, you think, "Gosh, I've done my homework. Let's hit it."
Fair enough. But Paji, we have also seen captains saying a day before in the press conference as well that yes, we haven't decided our playing 11. We haven't discussed about our playing 11. So when do they do that? Do they, if they do it in the next day on the match day, that allows all the 15 players who are in the squad to be like, okay, I have a chance to play, and some of them feel like, okay, I might be dropped. So there can be pros and cons, just like Rohan said in different topic. But this one also, there can be pros and cons for this one as well.
Yeah, as I said, I think what it is if it's a T20 game or a ODI game, maybe you would take that risk. But for a test match, over 5 days, I'm really sticking to the thing. The conditions can change, the wicket can change, and it can depend if you bat first or bat second. You may have a preferred selection within your team. And as a captain, I want to make that decision once I've seen the pitch and I know I'm going to go into bat or I'm going to field first, and I know how I can utilize my bowlers in the first innings? Should I use my pace bowlers at the first inning and then rely on my spin bowlers at the end, or vice versa? So I really think that suspense thing is probably something for a test match. I really think for a T20 game, it's not going to make any difference really. It's a 3 hour game, whether you name the squad at the start or the day before, it doesn't make a difference. But for Test cricket, let's keep the tradition, let's keep the suspense. That Test cap is valued. That wearing that Test cap, there's no higher, in my opinion, no higher honor to represent your country in the Test series.
Absolutely. 100% agreed with the last statement, though. Last minute changes if needed due to a conditions or injury. This one I do agree, but if you can explain, yeah.
Yeah, obviously, you could wake up being told that you're in the team and have a back spasm, and that could happen. Or obviously warm ups on the day, especially for fast bowlers. We've seen it in football, we've seen it in cricket that guys pulled a hammy before the day, and then
Yeah.
that embarrassment. And then that goes on to my next point is that embarrassment for the player, the embarrassment for the media. Oh no, hi mar gaya banda. It's like it's not going to happen. It's going to be one of those things when you think, oh gosh, injury can happen. And again, we could have a sudden downpour in rain, and the conditions change, and you as a captain will be stuck because you can't go after the toss and say, oh, by the way, we've decided to change our team because obviously we've lost the toss. And it rained last night. I would have changed my condition. I would have changed whether I went in bat first or bat second had I won the toss.
Okay, so this exact statement is what my next question is for Rohan. Is that so you are announcing you're playing 11 a day before. So don't you think in case someone gets injured during the warm up or anywhere before the game as well, the balance of the team playing 11 hampers because you have announced a playing 11 a day before. Suddenly a player gets injured. Suppose like a Hardik Pandya gets injured in the middle of the game before the
That'll
game,
happen.
and
What an example, man.
an all-rounder of the team gets injured and it hampers your playing 11. What do you do then?
Pritham, to be honest, now let's be clear with how the team announcement happens. Right, unless the toss happens and the team sheets get exchanged, you have the time to change your 11.
Yeah,
So just
absolutely.
because you announced it a day before, it doesn't mean in case of an injury or something happens. That's what I meant by flexibility. If you have that flexibility in your mind, at your your management and the players involved there, if such a situation arises, you can definitely change it. So that's the kind of mindset. Unless the team and the player are in sync with it, only then that can happen. Only other thing I can feel you can do is it's a bluff. Also, you can announce 11, as Paaji said, it could be a real or a false, whatever. A niggle can come through, and you can catch the opponent by surprise also. So that's also a trick that team can use to catch your opposition unaware.
That's the issue. If it's a 5 day game, and then you've got also, as Rowan said, a 4 day game, a Ranji Trophy game. You need to give the player an ample time to go into that game and do some preparations in that area, because otherwise that player could be injured. Because obviously we expect them to be fully tuned up, but if the conditions are slightly different in that country, maybe it's colder, or they're coming up from a slightly different climate. Obviously, sleeping in hotel beds sometimes isn't a great thing. That could be a lot of problem for the player. Should they be released by the team? I like Rowan's argument of saying, yeah, gives domestic teams a chance of
Yeah.
playing their thing. But again, is that player mentally tuned playing in for a test match, or is in the squad for a test series? Suddenly has to then go to a bottom level, drop that mentality, that level to go into play in a domestic match can be problematic.
Okay, but I think nowadays players have that mentality that they can suddenly get a call for an international game, just as Sarfaraz got, Rajat Patida got. Similarly, just like players who are in the part of the squad can go on to play domestic games just to get the game time, just like Rohan mentioned. So I think this flexibility, which he mentioned, I am taking the words of him as well. This flexibility needs to come into play, and I really agree with those points of what Rohan said. Similarly, for what you said about the injuries, but Rohan. Any one point you would agree for what Paaji said about out of his three?
the first point, I mean, the suspense. I mean, as growing up, we always used to look forward to, especially during the 90s and all. You don't know the playing 11. You used to always look at the scoreboard. If you're in the
Yeah.
stadium, you don't know who's playing. So even after toss, also at sometimes we don't know, because unlike nowadays, the names on the jerseys would not be there. So we would not know who is actually the player and who is not there. So unless everything was clear or somebody communicated via a radio or a transistor, you didn't know the playing 11 at times, even after the game started. So nowadays, if that's happening, and of course your internet and stuff happening there, you can always catch up the playing 11 and who is not, and if who is playing, who, why they aren't playing, injuries or whatever kind of updates you can get at a click of a button. So that's there. But as Paji said, that suspense at the toss will always be eagerly awaited.
Absolutely.
The only thing it would happen if you've got a captain like Rohan Sharma or Shikhar who forget the team, then obviously for them
That's
it'll make
even
their
better.
life easier. So I only think that that would be the 11 is then they won't be asked any awkward questions. On the pitch when the mic is in front of them, who's playing? Oh, pata nahi chata pal gaya,
Absolutely agreed with that. That concludes our session today, by the way, because it was a wonderful one. Cricket episode number 4 finishes with a bang. Two experts out here, red hot form. I don't know who wins because it's the audience that will vote and will comment who wins. But it was a wonderful one. Thank you so much, Rohan. Thank you so much, Paji, for this one. Thank you to all of you who will be watching this. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel as well. Cricket episode number 4 tunes, and that's end of it. Thank you so much, and bye bye.
Take care. Bye.